What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Grind City Hoops. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Let's get into it. Um, the silent work, the silent grind that no one really sees when you're an athlete, especially a basketball player. You know, the late nights, the early mornings, the long workouts, weight training, summer training, all different types of conditioning, practices, games, etc. It goes unnoticed and people don't really realize how much it takes to be not just a high level basketball player, but just a high level person in general. It's a lot of things off the court that basketball players have to deal with that goes unnoticed and it's under the radar. But I'm here to get into that today and kind of bring some light to the difficulties of being a super strong and high level basketball player. So obviously, the late nights, early mornings that I just spoke about, going to the gym, late at night, early in the morning, shooting by yourself or shooting with one trainer. And it's just constant repetition on strengths and weaknesses. And a lot of times you'll be in the gym and maybe it's an off day and you feel like, why are you grinding this hard and no one's really noticing? Or, you put in a lot of work every day, countless hours, and coaches are not reaching out, or you're not getting noticed on social media. They're posting about other players in your area and you're right there. You're averaging a good stat line for your position and you still feel like you're not getting noticed. And at times it can feel really tough and demoralizing because you know how much work you're putting in and you just want to get the recognition. But that's part of being a basketball player, especially nowadays. It's a lot of favoritism, a lot of social media hype, a lot of mixtapes, and a lot of the underrated hoopers are flying under the radar. But that's why I have my platform, so that doesn't happen. Um, it's really difficult, just it's just simple things. People don't really realize, how much it takes off the court, being a student first and then being an athlete is really difficult. I mean, athletes have a rigorous schedule every day. You're always doing something pertaining to your sport, especially basketball players, but you still have to keep your grades up in the classroom and perform at a high level, or you're not going to be able to play on the court, then be able to, eat clean when others don't care, especially in high school. High school kids and college kids as well. They just eat whatever at whatever time of the day, whenever they feel like they're going to eat or whatever they want to eat, they just do it. But, when you're a high level basketball player, you want to make it to the next level, you can't necessarily do that. You have to monitor what you're eating and putting into your body, and make sure that it's not junk because you need the fuel to be able to play at a high level. And it can get really difficult. Most kids from the high school to college level, they're not really caring what they put in their body. They just want something to eat, to be quite honest with you. But as a basketball player, you're always constantly monitoring that and managing that. And then studying plays and film along with schoolwork is it takes over your life. A lot of basketball players in high school, I understand personally, in high school and then in college, it's their whole life, whether they studying film or studying for the classroom, on the court practice or practicing for exams, doing homework or watching going over a scouting report for the next game. It constantly is a grind and a battle every day just to be a high level basketball player on the court and a high level person academically and then physically. It can weigh a person down mentally just because they feel like there's almost no escape. And every day you feel like you have to be perfect in both areas. And then mistakes feel like they're detrimental and like the world's falling, whether that's a bad grade on an exam or if you have a bad game or a bad practice, all of it feels like the world's crashing down because you feel like you have to be perfect, but you don't. It's all a part of the everyday grind and it's a part of just getting better. And that's the thing you have to remember. All right, moving on. This is the difficult part about being any athlete, but I think it's more so in basketball today. Basketball is very political. It's all about, what school did you go to? What coach did you play for? What AAU program are you a part of? What area are you from? Et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of basketball players have the tough reality. I had the tough reality of realizing that the reality is no one cares. No one's there to clap for you. A lot of the times you don't get recognition for the things that you do, especially working out late or early in the morning, lifting weights when, everybody else is relaxing, um, and studying and preparing when people are chilling. Most of the time you don't get recognition for that. And it's very demoralizing and it hurts, but that's all a part of the game and you just got to keep pushing through that, and it's just a wall that every basketball player hits. Hopefully you can get through that wall. But again, this is why I created this platform, because the majority of basketball players run into what I ran into, and they never get that recognition, and they feel like all the work was for nothing. But here, that's why I wanted to create this, to give this platform to the people. All right, anything that you're doing, I'm just looking at my notes, guys, by the way. Anything that you do is going to have delayed gratification. I know social media makes everything seem like it's going to happen in a snap of a finger, at a drop of a hat, but that's not the reality of it. Even this podcast, for example, I've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and I've been making consistent progress, but it hasn't all come at one time. And I don't expect it to come at one time. And don't look at your basketball career as, a defining moment, or, you're going to blow up off of one play or one game and all of a sudden the world's going to know your name. It's a consistent thing. It's something I like to call, it's the slow grind. Every day you're putting one foot in front of the other, just trying to get better and trying to grow. Looking at your mistakes, looking at what you can get better at, and harping on that and training on that, and just consistently wanting to improve. I think wanting to learn is the biggest thing you could possibly have, especially in high school, wanting to make it to the next level. And then college, if you want to go pro, whether that's the NBA or the NCAA, I think it's important to always want to learn and just get better and grow from your mistakes. It's okay to make a mistake, but just don't make the same mistake repeatedly. Delayed gratification. Look, just keep going. I know it's tough. There's going to be certain points in your career where it feels like the sky's falling and nothing's going right, but it's all a part of it. You're going to have the ups and downs in the journey. But at the end of the day, it's all about growing and getting better. And if you look back, each day, each week, each month, each year, and you've gotten better, then you're on the right track. Just keep going. Thank y'all for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed this content and all of our other content, please make sure you subscribe. Over 50% of y'all are not subscribed currently, so let's go do that. Smash that subscribe button. Also, too, you can find our link tree in our bio, where you can find us on all social media platforms, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere you can find us. You'll also find in our link tree our paid promotions. If you're a hooper out there that wants to get their name seen and heard all across the world, there's different packages for you, different tiers. Have a look at that and let us know. And also, you'll be able to find our podcast guest form. If you are a hooper or anyone involved in basketball and you want to be featured on a podcast, it's totally free of charge. Just make sure that you enter your information on that Google form, and we will get back to you. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video and tuning into our content in general. Let's keep growing together. This is not just my brand, this is our brand, and let's keep building.